Hi, Ernie Young with Rosenbauer America. I wanted to talk to you today about the RTX, revolutionary technology apparatus from Rosenbauer. What is revolutionary technology? Fortunately, I've had quite a bit of time on this vehicle over the summer. Started off in Edmonton, Canada, drove all the way down through the Pacific Northwest, Idaho, Utah, Colorado. We now have almost 20,000 miles on Demo 1, going around pumping with departments, showing them all the benefits of this type of technology. The revolutionary part was us actually going back to the drawing board and figuring out how do we create the next generation of fire apparatus. Now, what is the means to go about doing that? One of the primary functions of us going back was to make a safer, more ergonomic friendly vehicle. It honestly wasn't the set out to create an electric fire truck. It was just how do we do this safer and better? It needed to be more maneuverable. It needed to be able to get in tighter spaces. Our communities now are getting tighter and moving upwards. The firefighters that we bring in were far more diverse than we used to be. So being able to bring all these things into a single truck was kind of the marching orders of how we created it. In order to make it more ergonomic, we had to create a cab that was open and safe. We had to do something about being able to reach tools at different levels. And bringing the cab down towards the ground was one of the ways to accomplish that. We needed to make this far more maneuverable. So by adding the option of all-wheel steer and crab walking, you can get this vehicle into places you couldn't even imagine taking a modern traditional engine. How do we do all this? How do we make it safer by adding all-wheel drive? Quite difficult without making a monstrous truck in the traditional fashion. So what we had to do was get rid of frame rails, get rid of the traditional drivetrain in order to accomplish all these functions. By doing that, it allowed us to bring this truck closer to the ground. So this has multiple options for driving height. We have a parking height that is about 7 inches from the ground. Makes a very easy ergonomic step to the ground instead of the large steps we've become used to. We've got a 10-inch driving height, which will give us an approach and departure angle that NFPA requires. We also have a 14-inch off-road height. Okay, yes, this is an off-road vehicle as well. Then you have a 19-inch fording height to cross high water areas. So a lot of these things have been taken into consideration. We couldn't do that with the traditional chassis. All-wheel steer, all-wheel drive. Gets us into those tight places, into those small cul-de-sacs, in between the tight townhomes that we have today. We're allowed to get a 92-inch width on this vehicle because of how it's built. In poor weather, instead of just pushing your truck through turns, you're pushing and pulling. It makes it a lot safer, a lot easier to handle in poor weather conditions. So these are a lot of things that we were able to do chassis-wise. We're making it safer, we're making it more ergonomic, it's easier to drive, brought the center of gravity forward and down. We don't have frame rails to get in the way of bringing the tank lower, so it's truly got a low center of gravity compared to a traditional engine where you're pretty much having to put the water tank above the rear axle. So it does a lot of things for stability, for room, form, and function. This truly is revolutionary. This is the next generation, so I encourage you to take a moment when you have a chance with this demo in your area to get a hold of your dealership and come out and take a look. I think you'll be surprised.